Have you ever felt like you're paying hundreds of dollars every month for a CRM you barely use? Well, that was me. I've been using HubSpot for years. It's a good tool, no doubt, but honestly, it's packed with features I don't really need. All I wanted was something simple. A platform where I could manage my leads, send automated email sequences, track replies and follow-ups. Nothing fancy, but just something that worked. So I started looking for alternatives, different platforms, low-code tools, CRMs and AI apps. Some were cheaper, but they still came with limited flexibility. Then I found something different, a way to build my own HubSpot style CRM from scratch using Replit AI. No expensive subscriptions, no cluttered dashboards, just exactly what I needed. Hey everyone, I'm Wasim Bashir, founder of apextra.com. In this video, I'll show you how I built it, how the automation works, how I integrated email sequencing, and how this setup now saves me thousands of dollars every year without losing any of the essentials. And just a quick heads up, this is going to be a long tutorial, but it's absolutely worth it. So make sure you watch it till the end. Let's get started. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm currently paying about more than £300 a month for HubSpot, and it's just basically me who's using it. And every month I feel like there's too much money which is going out of the bank to HubSpot, and I don't actually use all the features. So my biggest drive is actually to just use a very small feature for my CRM, which is basically managing leads and also an ability where I can send them emails as sequences, and in case if they don't respond, then the emails continue. If they do respond, then I should, stop that sequence. So that's basically the main aim. So I'm going to use Replit to build this, and within Replit, I obviously need almost like a spec, which I want to discuss and give it to Replit. And I will include some screenshots from HubSpot and see what it can do for me, because I know Replit is very strong, and it's really solid when it comes to building apps, but it's as good as your input. So I'll try to make my input as detailed as possible, and once I write this spec up, I'm going to show it to you, and then we'll take it from there. So I'm going to actually use ChatGPT to write my spec. So here's what I'm thinking. I want to create a CRM which allows me to save lead info with the ability to manage them using a Kanban style UI. A lead could be associated to one or more deals, and I need a way to nurture those leads. This could mean sending a sequence of emails until they book a call with me. I use Calendly, so I want the CRM to integrate deeply with Calendly. So when a lead does book a call via Calendly, it should remove it from the sequence. So those are my top level features. We'll obviously add more in the future. But before I say I want to create a CRM, I want to say to ChatGPT, I need your help to create a prompt for Replit in which, and then I want to do all this stuff. So I'll include a sequence of screenshots for your inspiration. So that's the first iteration. I want a system where I'm able to save leads as, I think I should mention, as contacts. CRM to say leave info as contacts, and then with the ability to manage them using like a Kanban style. But I think the deals should be managed rather than contacts. So once once a lead becomes a deal, then that deal should be managed using a Kanban style UI. So I think this sounds good. Let me send it to ChatGPT and see what type of prompt it can create for us. Okay, build me a mini CRM with contacts, deals, Kanban, email sequences, and deep Calendly integration. That's really good. So I'm going to copy this for now. Let it obviously do all this magic. I'm going to copy this into like a Google Doc and we will edit it there. I don't want to make any changes right now to this. Okay, so it's written me this prompt. I'm going to take this prompt and copy it in a Google Doc. So I'll quickly have a skim through of this and make sure that whatever it wrote makes sense. Let me have a look. I really like this view. So this view tells me exactly how many emails are in a sequence and how many emails were sent, what was the performance of those emails. So I really want to replicate this in my new mini CRM. So I've taken a screenshot and I'm going to put it in ChatGPT and ask it to include it into the spec. So can you write a brief to include this reporting screen for sequences? So while it's doing that, I want to show you one more thing which I really like about HubSpot. So it shows me obviously all the people who've enrolled in this, what are the different steps of emails, and within those emails I can A/B test. I don't want to include A/B testing as part of version 1 because I want to get up and running with this mini CRM. And this is something which I want to add, which is obviously if somebody responds to my email, or they book a meeting through Calendly, or they do something with the email. So for example, they reply back or they forward or do anything with that email, the sequence should stop. So there is a feature called create an automation as well. So let's imagine somebody visits a web page or they submit a different form and you want to stop that sequence. You can do that as well. But again, these are very advanced features within HubSpot, which I don't want to include right now. But I do want to include this part where, as I mentioned, people responding to emails or booking a call. So let me take that screenshot and include that here. So it has written like almost like a separate brief for the reporting screen, which I just showed you here, and sequence reporting dashboard brief. So I think I'm going to leave that alone for a bit. I'm going to say to ChatGPT, can you make sure to include this, which is automating. So automating your sequence is probably not the right thing on how to explain to ChatGPT what this means. But I do want to include this feature. So can you make sure to include this feature in the mini CRM? So let's see what it does to this particular request. So since it's an addendum, which is basically like a must-have, add automate your sequence panel in the sequence settings, and it will allow us to do all these three things, and then it has added like all the database structures and other things which should be part of the model. And I don't know exactly which programming language this is. It seems like something called Prisma. I've never heard of it, to be honest. So I'm going to treat it as a layman and I hope it understands what it's doing. So I think there's two parts of it. One part is like we tell Replit each and everything, or we let it decide for us. So I'm going to copy this part and let's see how this looks in our document. So as part of the sequences, I'm just going to copy and paste this. So delete this bit. So tests happy path. I'm going to delete the test for now. hopefully it understands all the different coding bits here. I'm not going to dwell too much of my time understanding this. I'm hoping that Replit would understand what's going on here. So that's one core feature. And as we discussed, there was like this dashboard which I wanted. That's something which it did here. So I'm going to copy this prompt as well, and then I'm going to paste it towards the end, because I feel like I don't want to override something which is fundamental, because this is like almost like an add-on on top of the core features. So just let me edit this. I'm going to delete some of the messaging ChatGPT adds automatically. So it has added some environment variables. So if you don't understand what this means, think of this as settings. So every production environment, or let's say every app, has got two different sides. One is like a development environment and the other one is production environment. So while if you're dealing with, let's say, a test, you're working on a test environment, and you want to create two different setups where it allows you to play with things on dev versus production, because on production the data is going to be production ready in a way, like it has to be accurate. And then if you want to mess something up in a way, you want to play something with your app and you don't want production to be impacted, so that's where the dev environment and the production environments work, side by side, because you can test something in dev, and once you're happy with it, you release it to production. But there are certain settings or variables which you define, which allows the app or this mini CRM to understand, okay, if I'm in dev environment, these are the settings I should use. For example, email. So if I want to use my accurate email with @apex.com, I'll put that maybe in production settings. Whereas if I'm using, just a test email, I'll probably use a different email, just to kind of, give you an example. So that was basically what I wanted to show ChatGPT first, and then based on that, it wrote this prompt. I'm thinking of, obviously there's more ways to explain to ChatGPT by giving all the possible things from HubSpot which I want to copy over, but it can become wild. So I'm going to take a punt and just use this for now as my building blocks. So I'm going to call this thing a mini CRM, and I'm going to save this as a document in Google Docs, and then we will export this out as a PDF and then share it with Replit and see what happens. So let me download this as a PDF. Okay, so here's the moment now. So I've got the PDF with all the spec. It has a lot of information. Let's try and instead of like saying what I want to create, or maybe like let it guess, I'm going to choose web app and then click start chat. Let's see what it does. So it's analyzing my comprehensive mini CRM requirements and searching for the necessary integrations before proposing a plan. So I found recent integration, but no direct Calendly connector. Let me search specifically, because we are relying on a third-party system. Calendly is one of the core things which I want to use. And one of the things which I want to avoid, which was the biggest problem in HubSpot, that we were using HubSpot tools. So for example, HubSpot has its own meeting scheduler, and the moment you want to use Calendly, it doesn't work. And in order for that to work, you need to have Zapier, you need to have like all these external connectors. It just made the whole thing very annoying. So you end up using HubSpot's meeting scheduler. I don't think it's a bad one. It's just that anything with HubSpot means they do 80% of that app. So whether it's like an email scheduler, whether it's like a meeting scheduler, any type of tool within the HubSpot suite is done at an 80% level. So it's somehow missing the 20%. And that's my problem with HubSpot. Although it's such an amazing tool, it just is not good for everything. It's like a Swiss knife where it does the job, but it's not perfect. So with this mini CRM, I'm hoping that I would customize it to exactly my requirements, which will, be so much efficient. So as you can see here, it's kind of defined all the different features we would need. And there's two ways we can define it. One is either we build the entire app or we start with a design. I don't have a design in mind, to be honest with you. I would just rather get it to work and ask it to build the app, because I've noticed, and even in the past, when I go down the build route first, it actually does a fairly good job. So I don't have a problem with that. So I'm going to click start build. It's going to take a while. So last couple of iterations when I was building apps, it took about 15 minutes. It's estimating 20 to 25 for this one, which is quite big. It's showing vibing at the bottom, which is interesting. Before it was, I thought like the word vibing was almost like derogatory in a way, because it was like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, but now vibing has become part of the culture. So I'm going to let it run and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so while it was building, it's asked me to actually sign up to Resend. Resend, I believe, is like an email service provider. I think SendGrid is something similar. So it's asking me to sign up for a free account, and then basically after that, I can copy in the API key. So this is exactly what I was mentioning before, that when you're defining these variables, there's usually like a local setting or a dev setting and a production setting. And when you copy in the key here, it will copy and have two instances of it so that you can manage two different environments. So I'm going to sign up for a free account. So let me sign up using my Google account so that it's easy to manage. Okay, so it has signed me up very quickly. I can easily copy this and then go into my Replit and paste it. Cool. So would you like to save the secret to your account services so you can easily access other apps? I don't mind at the moment. So it's now going to continue building the app. So let's see what the next step is here. Okay, so Replit has done its magic. It spent about 20 minutes, which was kind of the time it actually estimated correctly. So if you see here, it's done its work and it costed me $5. So that's negligible when it compares to the amount of work which was completed in those 20 minutes. So let's see what was actually completed. So I, on the right side, can check out the app. So this is the local version, and I explained the difference between dev and production. This is the dev environment. So it's currently hosted under replit.dev. If you want to publish it, which I'll show in the latest sequences or in the latest videos, that you can actually publish it on a production URL and access it anywhere from the web. So let's see what it has been able to achieve. So we have a dashboard here. It shows some stats, total contacts, active deals, active sequences, and the total value of those deals. I'm pretty sure I'm going to configure this to the T and make sure that I'm looking at the right numbers. But for now, this is the bare bones of the dashboard. Then we have contacts. It shows that we can add contact, we can import contacts through CSV. This is the feature which I didn't even ask for it, but it has built it, which is cool now. And then we have companies. So these will be organizations associated with contacts or leads. And then finally we have deals, and these deals are defined in this Kanban view, which is what I wanted to have in the first iteration. And with every category, so for example with contact, company, and deals, we can add things. I haven't tested this yet, so I'm going to play with this one by one and make sure that we can actually add these pieces of information. Then we have sequences. I can see it has added sequences as a feature where you can define them first, where you create the name of the sequence, and actually the automation settings which we asked it to add, it was able to add it on a sequence by sequence level, which is incredible because it kind of even is better than what HubSpot is doing on their sequences as part of their general settings. It was able to add it on each sequence, which is incredible. I can't wait to test this out. And then finally, we have the settings, which has got the email settings currently baked in. This was the resend API which we gave it to it, and it has already configured it. So there's like a green checkbox. And the next thing which it is asking us to do is to connect to Calendly, which I'm going to do in a second. So this is the first iteration of what it was able to do in 20 minutes. I'm already blown away with what it did, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to now make this into a very bespoke CRM. So let's start configuring it piece by piece. Let's start configuring the app. So I'm going to head over settings and connect with my Calendly. So it's asking for a public access, or sorry, a personal access token, which I can get from Calendly. So if I go to Calendly, if I can spell Calendly.com and then head over to my settings. Okay, so the settings should be somewhere here, and then all settings. Let's see what it's saying here. So I need to go to Calendly integrations, Calendly integrations, API and webhooks. Calendly integrations. Oh, there we go. And then we have manage API. Let's search for API. Yeah, API and webhooks. I can then simply get it. Yeah, personal access token. So I'm going to call this mini CRM because that's where I'm going to use it. So enter the code which I received in my email. Let's see what code I've got. Okay, so the code is 760000. Okay, copy this token and then paste it in here. Let's see. Oh, failed to create webhook subscription. So this is the first hiccup we have got now. So I'm going to tell Replit that I'm unable to add my token. So just before I do, I want to make sure that I've copied the right text. So if I paste it in here, connect Calendly. Okay. So I am unable to add or connect to Calendly using the personal access token. I'm getting an error which says connection failed. Okay, so this is one of the things which you'll have to think about, or you will encounter when you will work with Replit, because while it's built a lot of features, it's not going to build and test everything. So you will experience it, and you'll have to obviously work with Replit to solve it. So let's see what it's doing right now. So I'll help you find the Calendly connection issue. Let me first check the logs. So it has obviously logs to see what is going on. So it does have the error message failed to create webhook subscription. So I can see the issue, the webhook URL construction is incorrect. Let me fix the integration by. So now it's figuring out what those issues are. Properly constructing the webhook URL, stuff like that. So it might take a few minutes for it to resolve it. I'm going to pause and then restart. Okay, so it has gone through the code and fixed it. Spent about $1.19 for it, a minute of work. So let's see if it is now fixed. If I click this again, paste in my API key, click connect Calendly. Oh no, so it's still showing an error. Still shows up an error. Can you diagnose it properly? Shows the error on conflict specification. So sometimes you have to also give it the actual error code or error message so that it can understand it a bit more. So let's see. I'm going to pause again and we'll continue again. All right, so it's taken a minute again, cost about 65 pence this time. But in this scenario, it was able to fix it because there was a missing unique constraint on user ID. So sometimes there would be issues like that where you'll have to look into the database and see exactly what's going on. We won't do that right now because I feel like it should now work, but in case it doesn't, we will probably like investigate further. Oh no, so now it says insert or update on table. So I'm going to literally copy the, oh, can I copy this error? No, I can't. So I'm going to give it the same error again and see what it does. So there's going to be a bit of back and forth here. So I kind of understand what happened. When we do any kind of action on the database, it's trying to also include a user ID. And because I'm not logged into the system, so there's no user ID which was passed in this case. So what it cleverly did was it kind of added a demo account called admin@example.com. And this thing is called seeding in database technology or database terminology. And once it's added by default, because that's the default account which was added. So any time you make a change, it should use a user ID, which is the default ID. So let's see what it does now. Okay, so good news. So we have Calendly connected. So the webhook is now set up. That's incredible. So as you can see, with a bit of back and forth, we were able to manage that. Okay, let me add a few more contacts now. So let's add Clark Kent. So Clark at Kent.com, or maybe not. Let me actually use my actual accounts so that I can see what emails are coming over. So I'm going to use my Gmail account. So Wasim Gmail. So bashir.wasim@gmail.com. Okay, so it did add my account or contact, which is a good sign. Then adding a company, let's add Microsoft.com just as a test. Oh, let's add Google as a domain, gmail.com. So a company was added, which is good. Then let's add a deal. So let's say I need a website. So website revamp. And now I can actually choose, the contact. So Wasim Gmail, the amount is, let's say $10,000. And the pipeline is sales pipeline. I don't know why there's two pipelines. We'll have to fix that. Stage is new. So let's click create deal. So as you can see here, this card is added automatically to the Kanban view, and I can drag and drop it. No, I can't. Oh, I can. That's pretty cool. So it automatically understands if I move it over, it will then manage it. You know, it'll kind of move it to the next column. But I'm not able to kind of edit the deal, which is something which we need to add. So there's already two issues which we found. We have like two pipelines, two sales pipelines, and we also can't edit a deal. So that's something which we need to fix. Then we have sequences. This is one of my most important feature which I want to have in the CRM. So a booking sequence is going to be one where we will ask them to book a meeting with us. So I'm going to click create sequence. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful. So it automatically created this as a sequence, but also when I click on it, it shows me all the steps in which I can write these emails. And it's so smart because it has given me these variables which I can use within the body emails. This is amazing because this is the kind of stuff which I was hoping I would be able to build using Replit. But it's still early days because we need to test it thoroughly, because we'll be sending out to leads and we don't want any of these emails to be messed up. So let me play with this a bit more. I'm gonna pause the video right now and add like one email. So I added the first email in which I have included the first name of the contact, and then I've asked them to book a call. One of the things now I notice, we need a variable for the Calendly integration, because I don't want to include Calendly, as a URL. I want to have a deep integration for it. Okay, I can see I've added an email here, and I've added the variables. There's surprisingly two different types of emails or email copy which you can add, the HTML one or the plain one. I'm using the plain one for now. And then there is other settings, for example, how many days should it wait before sending, and what is the order position in sequence. At some point I want to have an ability where I can drag and drop these emails, but let's create the first step. Okay, cool. So I've added the first step, but I don't seem to see it in here. So let's go back and then click on it again. Oh, that's weird. So it says paused, added sequence, welcome series, but I don't see the emails here. So this is a bug which we need to let Replit know. So far we were able to add a contact, we were able to add a company, we were able to add a deal, but we couldn't edit the deal. And then we were able to add a sequence, but I can't seem to see the sequence. So those are the current bugs. Let's tidy them up one by one. Okay, I'm going to tell Replit I want to have the ability to edit the deal in Kanban view. It's currently vibing, optimizing agent memory. Let me pause while this is happening. Okay, you will see while it's making those changes, at some point it also starts testing the actual app. And this is where I find it spends a lot of time where I could actually test it myself. So I'm going to skip the test and let it restart the app, and then I will actually test it and see, if those changes were implemented. So let it just finish, and then we'll do this quick test. Okay, so it took about 6 minutes, costed about $1.50 or cents. Let's see what it did. So if I go to deals again, and I can see the deal which I added before, and I can hopefully click on it. Yes, I can, and I can now edit it, which is pretty cool. So I can see, yeah, that's another bug which we need to fix. But if I moved it to proposal stage, let's click update deal. So it now moves to the next step in the Kanban view, which is excellent. And it also totals the amount of that particular pipeline, which is also pretty great. So I can now move this back, for example, yeah, and hopefully it does update the stage, which is incredible. So now let's talk about the second bug. So I'm going to take a screenshot, and then because it's going to be slightly complicated to take a screenshot, let me see if I can do the entire screen and then edit it and send it to Replit. So I'm going to tell Replit why there are two sales pipelines. So I've taken a screenshot, drew this annotation around it. So I'm going to copy this and paste it in Replit here and say, can you please confirm why there are two pipelines showing up under pipeline? Okay, so Replit has done its magic. Took about 2 minutes, which costed about 97 cents. And now if I click on edit deal, I only see one pipeline. That's exactly what we were expecting. So that's also fixed. The next issue we have is with sequences, where when I click the booking sequence, I don't actually see the emails. So let me take a screenshot and explain it to Replit. So I'm telling Replit I added the first email, but it's not showing up under email steps. Cool. So after 3 minutes of work, costed me about $1.43. Sorry, when I say pence, I mean cents. If I go to now sequences, and I can see there's an issue with UI, which we will fix later, but let's click on booking sequence. Oh, cool. Now I can see the email step. So this is the first email which gets sent. There's a number 1 here, and then I can click edit, and it will take me to the edit screen, which is cool. So we can now see exactly this email. I would like to add a few more emails, but before I do that, I want to make sure the UI of this particular screen is better. So I already have a UI in mind, which I really like from HubSpot. So I'm going to copy that screenshot and tell Replit to replicate that. So let's see if it does a good job with that. So let me take a screenshot and say to Replit, could you improve the UI of the booking sequence email steps to match something like this, where we can see how many emails were sent, how many meetings were booked via that email, how many opens we had, and then also the click-through percentage. Cool. And also finally reply rate. Cool. So Replit spent around $1.70 and 3 minutes of work. And let's see what it is able to achieve in 3 minutes. So if I click on sequences and click on my booking sequence, I can see my first email with the metrics which I wanted, just like HubSpot. So we have number of emails sent, meetings, opens, clicks, and replies. One thing I should have mentioned, I should have created a separate, let's say, a session where I added new features rather than fixing bugs, because in this session we were fixing bugs and suddenly I added a feature, but I should avoid that in the future. Focus on, let's say, fixing bugs, or maybe that's something which you should do. Instead of adding a new feature, just make sure you fix all the bugs. And one of the bugs which I wanted to actually fix was that there's no way for me to add a Calendly link. So I'm going to do that now, but I'm really pleased with what it achieved, but we have to obviously test it once we send these out to actual contacts. But for now, from a UI perspective, it looks really good. So let's fix the Calendly issue. So I'm telling Replit that I want to include or have the ability to embed Calendly booking links easily. I've taken a screenshot of the right page here, and let's see what it does. So after about 3 minutes of work, which costed about $1.47, I can see Replit has added a new booking link within the settings. I'm not so sure about this because it seems like I need to copy paste the booking link in here. Ideally, I would like it to fetch all the public or even the private booking types which I've already defined, and then I could choose the one which I would like from a drop-down list, because I don't want to have the ability, or not the ability, but this nuisance of like copy pasting a link. Let's look at what it did on the sequences side. So if I now go to my emails, click on the first email, so I can see now these two buttons. And if I click here, insert Calendly link, oh yeah, it's throwing an error because we don't have a Calendly link, which I've defined in settings. But I don't want this, so I'm going to tell Replit to replace it with a drop-down. So let me do that. So I'm telling Replit, so instead of me adding a link, can you include a drop-down instead, which shows all my Calendly events, and I can pick the one which I want to use for the booking link. So let's see what it does. Okay, so it's taken about 2 minutes, costed about $1.20. So now if I go to my settings, oh, there was a fraction where I didn't see Calendly integration, but excellent. So now I can see all my event types, which is pretty cool. So I have one called landing page consultation, and I have a discovery call 30 minutes. That's the one I want to use. So if I click save default event, okay, so that's saved. And if I go to my sequences and then go over to my booking sequence, click my email. I want to change this. I want to have the ability to simply click on it so that it edits, but yeah, that's something minor. So edit it. Okay, now if I go to feel free to schedule meeting, insert oh, it says, please add your Calendly booking link. So that's a bug which we need to ask you to fix. So let me take a screenshot of that and then tell Replit to fix it, because now we do have a Calendly link. Let me do that. Okay, so after 3 minutes of work and a spending of about $1.17, Replit says it's fixed this issue. So if I go to Calendly now and select the Calendly, the meeting type again, which is the free discovery call 30 minutes, that's the one, and click save default event, go over to my sequences, click the booking sequence, click the email, edit it, and then insert my Calendly link here. It says Calendly link has been inserted. Well, it didn't copy it to the right one, but I can forgive that. I can fix that at some point. Let's click update step. Wow, okay, awesome. So now it did save it with the correct booking link. So the next step would be to actually test the booking sequence. That's a very important step, but I'm going to add another email just in case to kind of make sure that we have at least 2 emails. So I think we're in a good shape here. Yeah, let's go. Let's continue. So I've added another email, and I want to now test this automation. So if I click on enrollments and click on enroll contact and select the test contact which we have, select a contract to enroll in the sequence. Oops, I think I've added it twice. Oh, no, that's step 1 of 2. I think I've accidentally added it twice. So let me pause one of them. Okay, cool. So the first one is showing that step 1 of 1. So let me see if I actually get this email within my Gmail. Okay, so I've enabled this enrollment, but I don't see any emails come through in my Gmail account. So clearly there's an issue, but I know kind of why this issue exists, because I haven't yet configured my domain email properly with this setting. So maybe it's because I haven't configured resend, or also because it hasn't triggered at the right time. So what I want to see is exactly when this email is sent over. So we need a new feature where we can see under enrollments. And if I click on enrollment, I should be able to see how many emails were sent, when were they sent, and when they're going to be sent. For example, stuff like that, like the entire log. If somebody's clicked on it, or they have unsubscribed, or all that stuff. So let me type up that feature and add it to Replit. So here's my prompt. I want to have a feature where on the booking sequence enroll contacts, I think I should say screen, to have the ability to see the full log of emails. For example, email sent, date time, email open, date time, email clicked, blah, blah, blah. Everything around the email, so I can diagnose any potential issues and also analyze the email deliverability. So let's see what Replit does with that. Okay, so after 3 minutes of work, and it costed about $1.09, we have an email log feature somewhere. So let's have a look. So if you click on enrollments, and this is the enrollment currently in action, and I can see there's a new feature called view email logs. And there we go. So at the moment, the email log is empty, which kind of shows why I didn't receive that email. So the question now becomes, why hasn't the email been sent? And I think one of the reasons could be that while I was configuring this email, I noticed that there's like a start and an end window, and it doesn't mention what time zone are we talking about here. It could be like EST or PST. I'm in the UK, so it's 1 p.m. and maybe that's where the issue is. So I'm going to confirm that with Replit and include maybe an EST time zone, or the ability to choose a time zone. That'll be ideal. And that way we know, okay, this email will be sent to the right person. In an ideal world, it should match the person's time zone, which again is going to be slightly difficult because at the moment we don't know their time zone. So let's by default use the UK time zone for now. Let me do that. Okay, so I'm basically asking Replit when dealing or defining emails for sequences, can you define them so that they're sent in the UK time zone by default, but have the ability to adapt to the contact's time zone, and the contact time zone should be a property within contact. So let's ask it to work on this. Okay, so after 2 minutes of work, which costed about $1.62, I can see inside emails, it has added a little note here, times use our UK time zone by default. Emails automatically adapt to each contact's time zone for optimal delivery. That's pretty cool, but I don't know how they've or how it added the time zone. Let's see in my contacts. So if I click to edit, oh, there's an issue here. There's a bug which we need to squash, so we can't edit. Let me make a note of that. So we can't edit a contact right now. I'll have to stop and fix this bug first. So fixing it is quite simple. You just tell Replit, I'm unable to edit a contact. It goes to a 404 page. So hopefully that should be enough for it to rectify it. So took about a minute of work, costed about $1.58. And now hopefully I should be able to edit a contact. Let's see. So I can click on Wasim Gmail and I can see a new time zone entry here, which is pretty cool. And I can choose a different time zone, which is also incredible. So at the moment, because I'm in BST or GMT, I click update contact, saves it, perfect. So now the question still remains, why didn't I receive this email? So I'm going to now ask Replit to figure out why this email wasn't sent, the first step. Let me do that. Okay, so I've simply asked I enroll a contact to the booking sequence. Why didn't the contact receive the first emails? I can see in the email log, it's empty. I know my grammar and my English gets to a point where I think it somehow understands what I want. But if I was speaking to a proper person, I'll probably write it in a better way. So it's going to investigate and we'll see what it says. So after this quick questionnaire, it came back and said it actually hasn't implemented any of the email system. So it's going to now add an email system where there'll be like an email worker process, there'll be job queue integration, it will integrate with resend and all of that. So it's asking me, shall I do this? And I would say, yes, please build this. So that question costed me about 1 minute of work and about 76 cents. Could have simply asked me without charging me. Okay, so as part of building the email infrastructure, it has asked me to sign up to Upstash, which has a generous free tier to manage some kind of a memory for sending out emails. I don't know exactly what it means. It seems like some kind of a caching mechanism. So I need to what do I need to do after creating your Redis? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Redis? You will get a connection URL which looks something like this. So maybe I should sign up with Redis one. So create a database. So okay. I'm going to use my Google account for ease. Okay. So low latency serverless key value store. Okay, so this is simply like a database with a key value pair. So I'm going to call it mini CRM Redis. Primary region, because I'm based in the UK, so I'm going to use London. Eviction enabled to evict entries when max size is reached. Don't know what that means, but for now let's use the free tier. Okay, so that creates the Redis. That's the endpoint which we need to copy, I guess. Copy. And then I'm going to go back to Reddit. So, okay, by the way, in Reddit, I should have explained, the moment when you sign up, you get, it's with a paid account, you get like $25 worth of credits. But then once you finish them, you have to start paying for more stuff. So every time when we do this amount of work, it has added some things. Okay, I'm going to continue for now and set another usage alert for $50 so that it tells me when I reach to $50, this pop up again. So I've got the URL. I'm going to paste it in here. I'm guessing that's the Redis URL. That's the correct one. So let's have a look. Endpoint connect. I don't see any other things here apart from that URL. I'm guessing that should be the one. So default password port, so Redis, so it starts with the word Redis, which is what we need here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to press enter here. Continue. Using SendGrid API key. Okay, so it took about 5 minutes this time and costed about $1.62. So the infrastructure should be up and running after this. Okay, so there's an issue with my Redis URL. It's saying the format isn't correct. So basically whatever I copied from Redis didn't actually work. So it seems that I need to copy. Let me actually paste it in here so you can see. So it needs to start from the Redis ://, so basically from there. So let's see if I now go back, and this is where I can actually show you the settings. So in the app there's the database, but then there's also connection strings where everything gets stored. I can't seem to find it right now, but let me ask it to save it somewhere. So let's have a look. So we have the screen size, logs, open files, database, ask agent to set up a database. Why can't I see the database? That's also one more annoying thing right now. So let me just simply ask it, can you use this Reddit? Oh, sorry, not Reddit. It's Redis URL instead. Okay, here's a dumb thing. It's basically asking me to do the same thing which I was trying to do, which is saving this URL inside inside like a settings panel. So it's saying go to the secrets panel icon in the left sidebar or tools to secrets. I can't find it. So I'm gonna ask it. I can't find where to add this. Oh, I can't find the secrets panel. Or maybe I should just Google it. Let's Google it. Secrets panel Reddit. Sorry, Replit. Too many Reddits going on. Secrets panel. I'll go to images so that I can simply find it. Okay, so there's this on the left side. I don't have this left sidebar. What I don't have it. Team help. What am I missing? Oh, open files? No, that's not the one. There's a config file. So let's see if I can search file, open shell. Nope. Publish. Oh, okay, so publishing. Production database settings. Okay, this is good. npm run. That's when you publish. This is something which I want to show you later on. Let me pause this video and figure out where this is. Finally, I have some good news. So, can you see this plus icon here? So once you click on it, it actually shows you all the different things which you have available. Well, I wanted secrets, so I can add secrets. So now we need a Redis URL, so I can edit this and paste in the URL which I wanted to Let me just see. Yeah, I've got it. So let's paste it in here. Let me actually first delete it and paste it. Oh, okay. Doesn't seem to get rid of it. Unlink. Don't know what that means. Let me just link to account secret send grid API key. Don't know why. So maybe I need to edit, unlink this. Resend API key. But why is it linked to send grid API key? Okay, I don't know. So I'll have to ask Replit to fix that. Or maybe first let me unlink. Oh, dang. It seems like I've deleted everything. So let me add a new secret myself. So Redis underscore URL. And then paste in this value. And it starts with the Redis word. So let's add secret. So I said, I have to say like I've updated the Redis URL. Let's see what it does. Okay, so after 4 minutes of Replit work, which costed $2.08. No cents. I am told that we have an email automation system which uses Redis and BullMQ for persistent job queues. I roughly know what it means. I'll have to be fully honest. I don't know exactly what it means, but I probably can guess about 80% of what it means. So the infrastructure is there. The question is, when are the emails sent? So as I can see here, this was the first initial contact we added. I can still confirm no emails have been sent. And also in my inbox, I haven't received any emails. So because now the email infrastructure is set up, I'm going to ask Replit why this contact hasn't received the email again. So let's see what it says. Okay, so after about 5 minutes of work, and which costed us about $1.77, Replit is telling us that we need to re-enroll this contact, because remember we added the contact and also the infrastructure was built later on, and also there was an issue where the order was set to send emails at order 0, but our email sequences start at order 1. So I'm going to stop this and re-add a contact. So let's do that. Enroll contact. Oh, that's weird. I can't add a contact because it seems like the contact is already enrolled. So there's a bug which I need to now squash. So let's do that. So in order to fix this bug, I'm asking Replit that it should remove all the enrolled contacts and also have the ability to delete enrolled contacts from sequences, because right now when I click actions, I can't delete it, I can't pause it. So that obviously creates an issue, because if this contact is enrolled, I can't enroll it again, which makes sense. So let's fix this issue. Okay, so we added this feature where we can allow users to remove contacts from sequences. It costed us, let me have a look, 2 minutes of work and $1.54. So let's see what we need to do in order to achieve that sequence, in that enrollment, that it should actually work. So if I now go to enrollments, I can click and see my name again, which is cool. And now I've clicked it. I think this is where the issue fundamentally lied, that when I click on it, it seems that as if nothing is happening, but actually when I click it twice, it then somehow enrolls it twice, which created the original issue. So let me try clicking on it. Yeah, this is not really user friendly. So let me take a screenshot of this and tell Replit to fix it. So I've simply told Replit that I'm unable to enroll a contact. When I click on the contact, nothing happens. So it's going to take that input and hopefully fix it. I knew it's going to bite us in the back, which is our domain email is not set up correctly. So I need to head over to resend and add the domain. So click on add domain. Name is going to be domain name and region for your sending. I'm going to call it what should we call it? Updates or notify.apextra.com. Region is going to be Ireland. Add domain. So because we use Cloudflare for our DNS, I'm going to sign into Cloudflare and set up the DNS there. So I've added the DNS settings inside Cloudflare, and here Replit, it seems like it fixed a queuing issue. Don't want to go into too much detail about this black hole, as long as it seems like it fixed something, and I can see the logs. It spent a lot of time figuring out what the issue with the queue was. It kind of restarted the queue, emptied it, and added a lot of test sequences. They're still hanging around actually. So when I go to booking sequence, there's about 11 enrollments which are queued up. So it seems like things are working, but I want to fully conclude this test by receiving an email in my inbox. That'll be the ultimate test. Okay, so the last bit took over 21 minutes and costed about $6.17, and hopefully with that our email sequence should work. Let's test it out once again. I can see it has added a lot of enrollments because it was testing something. I'm going to ask it to delete it separately, but let me see if I can. No, I can't. Obviously there's so many enrollments, so I'm going to ask it to clear up all the enrollments first. Okay, so after about 59 seconds of work and spend of about 38 cents, we have hopefully cleared up all the enrollments. So let me just do a quick, let me maybe refresh the page. Okay, yeah, so all the enrollments have gone away. Let's now enroll our test contact. So that's gone through. That's really good news. Let me check my email just in case if we get it. I'm logging into my inbox on my phone. I don't see any emails come through. Let's look at the email logs. Nothing showing up here. Let's look at our email queue here. No email sent. Let's cross-check that with Replit. So I asked Replit to fix this issue again, and it says now it improved email sending by logging failures and retrying automatically. Took about 2 minutes and costed about 48 cents. Let's test this out. So I've enrolled the contact. Now if I click on view email logs, okay, so if I send to Bashir.Wasim, no reply at yourdomain.com. The recent yourdomain.com is not verified. Obviously it's not verified because we're not using yourdomain.com. We're using notify.apextra.com. So we need to let Replit know that. So by adding this log feature, we are able to see exactly what the error is. So let's look at in secrets, we don't have a URL defined here. Let's see if it's in settings, email settings. It's configured but doesn't mention about URL. So I'm just going to tell Replit, please use the domain notify.apextra.com for, I think it's called resend. Yeah, for resend domain. So after 1 minute of work, which costed about 23 cents, Replit has updated the resend domain to notify.apextra.com, and the email sender is no reply at notify.apextra.com. So now I think this is buried in one of the databases. I would like to take this setting out and put it in our secrets file, which is basically this almost like config file. So I would tell Replit to do that and also restart the booking sequence, because at the moment I can see it's still using the old no reply at yourdomain.com as an email. So let me do that. Okay, so Replit made a mistake here by moving sender email and sender name outside into the secrets file, when actually I just wanted the URL. So I'll ask it again, and hopefully that should solve it. Okay, so asked Replit to now move the URL into its secrets file, and also asked to restart the enrollment with the correct email address. So let's first check the secrets files. There's a new sender domain key, and the value is notified.apex.com. That's perfect. And second of all, when I go to actions and click view email logs, I can see there's an email which was sent from Apex CRM, no reply at notified.apex.com, which is perfect. This is the right email which was used. And now when I head over to my inbox, I don't see any emails, but let's check out spam. Oh, there we go. We have follow-up email 1 boost sales. So there's clearly an issue that it didn't actually I didn't supply the subject. And second of all, it reported this as spam, which we need to fix out separately, but it didn't replace the context of that contact.firstname. So it does have Calendly in here, which is also pretty good. But there are a few issues which we need to tidy up. But the good news is the email service, the entire effort of defining this whole thing has worked. And this will now help us take, this app to the next stage. So I'm going to start telling Replit to fix these little issues. The first issue is that this email was sent to spam. I don't know whether Replit can do something about it, but I'm still going to ask. And the second issue is the variable was not replaced with the correct name of the contact. So that's something which Replit can definitely fix. So let me copy the screenshot and tell Replit to do that. So I'm telling Replit there's a couple of issues. The email went to spam. The first name was not replaced with the actual first name of the contact. And the second, the subject line is the name of the email. I need to have the ability to edit subject line. Unfortunately, I took a screenshot and I forgot to attach it. Let's see whether Replit is smart enough to figure this out by itself. So it took about 20 minutes this time, and so this time it took about 2 minutes and costed us around 99 cents. And it seems to have fixed the issue, because I got an email on the left side here which says hi Wasim, which is a good start. And also, instead of using, let's say, no reply, we can configure it to say wasim@apex.com. But for that, it's saying we need to add DNS and SPF records. In some point in my life, I'll probably do a video explaining all those things. But for now, I think this is good enough for us, because it actually went into my inbox, which was also good, because previously there was like hi first name, and that's why I probably considered that as spam. So what are the issues still left here? So let's look at the sequences. So we have booking sequence, we have these emails which were sent over. We have a subject line. So that's actually the name of the subject line. So I didn't really appreciate that. I thought this was like the name of the email. So we need to fix that for all the emails. Second, I've noticed, like, I've obviously clicked on these emails, I've opened them, I've clicked on the Calendly link, and these metrics are not changing. So I'm going to now push Replit to figure this out. Why isn't this working? Okay, so I asked Replit to show me why these numbers were not showing up for the sequences. And it went through and added a lot of logic, and finally it's asking me to go to resend and add a webhook URL. But the problem is we are not currently hosting the app. It's hosted on Replit. So it's asking me to enable it for this particular URL. But because we don't have a URL, I'm going to challenge it and figure it out. How can we use it on a dev environment? Okay, so it was able to give me like a URL. It seems like this is probably like a temporary URL, because as we are in dev environment, every time I kick off this session, the URL, I guess, is going to change, because it's not going to stay as is. And in order to have a static URL, you would have to deploy it in production, which we are not ready for at the moment. So let's use these temporary URLs inside resend. So I'm going to go to resend, add a webhook. The end point URL is this one. and I need to do contact created, contact deleted, contact updated. Oh no, sorry, not contact updated. I need to read the message again. Email open, clicked, delivered, and bounce. So go to email stuff. So email bounce, email clicked, email delivered, and email received opened. Say something like, to receive email open events, you need to go to domains and enable tracking for your domains. Okay, I'll still enable that for now. Click add. While that's adding, I just wanted to see how much effort it took. So it took about 74 cents for it to figure this out and tell me what the URL should be, and also the events which I need to configure. Open, click, deliver, and bounce. So it's still adding those. While that's happening, I just want to make a quick check of where we are so far. So we've added the booking sequence. Hopefully these metrics will show up soon. We've added enrollments. We can see email logs. So this is the first email which was sent, which is pretty good. And I can confirm that inside my Gmail. This is the Gmail where this email was sent, which is also pretty cool. The next automation, as we've defined here, will wait for 1 day. As we can't wait for 1 day to test it, I'll have to add some kind of a logic which will allow me to wait for minutes rather than days. So I'll do that as the next step. But I do want to configure, make sure this analytic piece is actually working, because this is fundamental to me. So I want to make sure that all the numbers are showing up correctly. So let's wait for this. Okay, so the webhooks have been enabled, and there was a setting under the domains here which said something about click tracking. So I've enabled that as well, just in case. So now let's go back to Replit and tell it, oh, we've enabled all this stuff. So I've added the webhook. Can we test again, maybe? Let's see. So it seems like Replit did say that it's going to fix the issue, and I updated the email. I clicked on it, as in I opened it and I clicked the Calendly link, but nothing seemed to have changed, and it costed me 37 cents. So I'm just going to ask Replit again. I did click and open it, but I don't see any numbers reflecting anywhere. Okay, so it says like I've updated the email tracking to record opens, clicks, and delivery status. Did about 2 minutes worth of work, costed 62 cents. I got an email which I opened and I clicked the Calendly link, but I don't see anywhere that the numbers have changed. I think one of the things which I noticed, it said here that inside resend I need to configure to toggle both the open tracking and the click tracking. So at the moment I haven't got that. I've only enabled click tracking, as you can see here, because on open tracking it says it's not recommended. I'm not so sure. So regardless, even if it's not tracking open rates, click tracking should still work. And one of the things which I'm kind of skeptical about is this UI getting updated once the email is open? So imagine this gets, let's say, written at some point, and maybe it's not pulling it from the database. So that's what I want to check with Replit, that are these numbers actually accurate and pulled out every time. So even if I see here, this says no engagement. So let me clarify that and check it with Replit. So after spending 88 cents and after 2 minutes, I have some good news. The good news is that it is able to detect opens. So I was able to see here inside my email log that, okay, the email was actually open, which I did here on the left side. And that is working perfectly. I did click on the Calendly link, which it hasn't detected yet, but I guess this is probably like a similar problem where there was some kind of URL which was not set up correctly. It didn't have the right HTTP stuff, and it was hard-coded to a different URL. So maybe it's the same issue with the click one as well. Let me ask Replit and get back. So it came back with the same thing that I need to configure click tracking inside resend, which I've already done. And it did mention that I need a webhook, which should be listening to the click email clicked event, which is already enabled as well. So I'm gonna reach out to Replit again and say both these things are set up correctly. So it took about 50 seconds to reply to my last message. Came back with something which I already know, spent 30 cents. So I hope this time it does something better than that. Finally, we have light at the end of the tunnel. We can now see open rate, click rate, delivered and bounce. So let's see what happened. So it seems like the email text was sent as like plain text. So in order for clicks to be let's say tracked, you need like an HTML link. So what Replit did, it decorated the email in a way that the link shows up as a HTML link rather than just like plain text. And because of that, it can be configured to work with the click event logic. So let's have a quick run of how things are looking here. So it hasn't updated the click rate here because I probably need to rerun this whole thing. But let's look at the email logs. The email log, this dialog box is annoying me because for some reason it's like emptying after some time. So I'll have to check with Replit what the story is with that. So it spent about 85 cents for the last thing. But it seems like it's working, but I'm gonna double check that again once more. Okay, so we have some good news. After 3 minutes of work, and which costed us $1.16, I can safely see when I click on booking sequence, the click metrics are showing up, which is good news. And then under enrollments, I can also see view email logs. I'm happy about that. This shows up like the actual click date and when this event happened. So the next major thing would be to check Calendly integration, and obviously testing the second leg of emails and all that stuff. So, I mean, we have made tremendous progress so far. I'm really pleased whatever we achieved in this short period of time. We've already covered maybe around 60-70% of functionality what I wanted to achieve with this clone of HubSpot. So let's continue our good work and let's see new features coming up. Okay, here's going to be a simple test. So I'm going to click on one of the emails and then I'm going to actually book in a discovery call. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to pick a date and time, so let's say Friday, 3 p.m. And then I'm going to use the same email. So Wasim Gmail and bashir.wasim@gmail.com. Choose Google Meet for now and then click schedule event. So there's a couple of things which should happen here. One, there should be a metric, which is our booking metric, which is this one. Oh, there's no booking metric. Oh, meetings, sorry. We do have meetings. I'm surprised that meetings is showing up already. But anyways, maybe this is fixed. I don't think so. Let's have a look. So this doesn't have a meeting metric. So we need to add that. And second, we need to see whether this person comes out of the enrollment, because part of the automation is if somebody books a Calendly booking, they should be automatically unenrolled. So for now, I don't see this contact being enrolled or like unenrolled. So they're still subscribed. So that's one thing which we need to fix. Second, we need to see in our email logs, we need to have an entry here which shows that the meeting was booked. And then we need to ensure that this metric is correct. So let me ask Replit to fix these issues one by one. Okay, so it does seem that Replit took a lot of time this time. And as I mentioned, it went into the spiral of testing it with Yeah, I never like the way it tests because it takes like a dummy account and then slowly goes through creating a contact and adding all the other details one by one. It takes like ages. So to cut the long story short, it seems like it did fix the Calendly logic, and Calendly webhook did work properly, and it also unenrolled the contact and defined the status change to stopped. Stopped reason was booked via Calendly, which is great. We need to obviously test other scenarios, but I want to make sure that the information is actually reflected in the UI. So while it's doing its thing, I just want to go back and make sure that if we got any other emails. No, we haven't. Okay, so let it finish, then we'll have a look. So after 8 minutes of work, which costed $2.39, it seems like the Calendly logic is working now. So as you can see here, well, this was not actually different before. So 14.29 is still showing up as is. But here under view action logs, meeting booked. So this is where after 11 minutes or before, after like receiving the email and 11 minutes ago, I booked in this meeting and the status was stopped. That is perfect because we know now this is working correctly. So that was the first part where using Calendly, the email should stop. The next one is if I receive a reply. So let's test that out. So I'm going to start again. So instead of having the same enrollment, I'm going to delete it and then set up a new enrollment with my own contact. So on the left side, I've got Gmail open. So hopefully I should receive an email anytime soon. Let me click refresh. Let's click refresh again. Let's check out promotions or maybe spam, just in case. No, so you haven't received anything there. I'm going to quickly check the logs to see what's going on. So no email logs here. That's interesting. So what's going on? Let's see again. Nothing here. No emails here. I think maybe it's down to because we unenrolled this contact because this contact booked a call. We need to find a way where if we enroll this contact again, then that setting should be ignored. And I believe that's what's happening. So let me go back to Replit. Seems like I have a new wife. So I said to Replit, I should have the ability to enroll a contact again, even if they got unenrolled via the automation rules, because I just did enroll the contact again, but didn't get any mails and there were no log entries. I want you to always add log entries when I enroll a contact so I know exactly what's happening. So let's see if this level of micromanagement explains Replit what I want to achieve. So I spent about $3.16 or cents, and it's been 10 minutes. Unfortunately, it did say that it's going to work out, but it didn't. So I've enrolled myself again, but it says that it was successful and the queued email, because it has booked a call, it's stopping enrollment. I know that, but that was the exact point, that we should be able to send more emails even if they have enrolled. Let me see how we can fix this. So it's still going on about because the contact has booked a meeting and that meeting still exists in the database. That's why we cannot send or enroll this contact again. So I've actually asked it for a different, let's say, angle now. So I've asked it to change the active status to meeting booked, and under actions we need like a force enroll option so that we can force somebody inside or enroll them forcibly. So I hope that should work. The previous thing costed me, let's have a look, 58 seconds and 40 cents. So I'm making a note of these costs because then I'm going to add everything up and see exactly how much the whole thing costed us. Okay, so after 8 minutes of work, and it costed us $2.48, we have a new feature. So basically, when we head over to sequences and look at any enrollments, we can see now it has, let's say, stopped, or what else happened with that contact. So in this case, for example, this one's currently active and they've already booked, but I can pause this. Let me just see view email logs. What does it show? So it's not showing any emails currently being sent, but let me see if there is any other way I can force it. No, I mean, I did ask Replit to add like a force button, but I don't see that feature. So force enroll button for contacts who have a booking, a meeting, but you still want to send them emails, maybe a different campaign. There's now a force enroll action in the drop-down menu. I don't see that. Maybe I need to refresh. Let's have a look. Enrollments. Action. No, I don't see this. So I need to go back to to Replit again and ask it to add this button. So after 52 seconds of work, we do have a force enroll button. So this contact has already booked, but we want to force enroll it again because I've deleted this contact, as in we deleted this booking. So let's click forced enroll. So it's now active, and let's look at the view email logs. There's nothing showing up yet. This is slightly concerning. Let's check out the emails. I haven't received any emails either, so looks like it's going back to Replit. So this actually paved the way for a new thing which I forgot about. So because we have an opening window between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. so as it's like 6 p.m. in the UK, so the email cannot be sent today. It's waiting to be sent for the next window, which is going to be tomorrow now. So it's good that it kind of understood that logic and implemented it. It's bad that I need to wait for that one day. I need to figure out how to skip those gates, sort of like these guardrails which I've set up. But yeah, the cool thing is it's actually working, so which is good. So this costed me about $1.53. So let's recap what we've got so far. So we have contacts, we have companies, we have deals. I did realize we don't have the logic right now to associate a contact to a company, because at the moment the company is just like there. It doesn't connect to anything. It's just like an entity with no real value. And then we have a deal which we haven't played with that much, but we will at some point. So we do have sequences which we have played with a lot, and I'm still hesitant about whether to call it like, yeah, it's 100% foolproof, because we haven't tested replies yet, and the meetings stats are not showing up correctly. So we need to work on that, and also this force enrollment feature, which we haven't yet fully tested. So there are a few things which we need to do, but still made really good progress. There's just a little minor issue where this label or tag is overflowing the card. So I'm going to ask Replit to fix that. And then we look at some other UI things which we can improve. Okay, so after 47 seconds, I can tell you that we have fixed this. So it costed us about 89 cents. Slightly expensive for a thing like that, but I'm glad it's fixed. So what other things can we improve? So I was just looking at the companies tab. That's something which we need to fix because it's currently not connected to anything. And I want to see some more stats. And that's something which I need to look at HubSpot and see what they're doing there. And maybe we can get some inspiration. So there's one major feature, I would say, not a minor one, because this would require Replit to build this, which is like an insights page. So when I click on a booking sequence, before I see the email steps, I want to have this dashboard view, which shows me the performance of this booking sequence. So which will include things like total enrollments, meeting rate, reply rate, no response. No response is actually a good one, because that helps us understand or help us visualize whether this is actually performing well. And then email engagement is also a good one. We haven't talked about unsubscribe rate because we don't have an unsubscribe link right now in the emails. That's something which we need to worry about at some point. But let's see what Replit does with this request. Well, this is bizarre. So I was thinking it would take a lot of time. It actually only took a minute and costed us only 34 cents. So we have total enrollments, we have meeting rate, reply rate. No response shows up minus 100%. That's obviously something like which we need to fix. And then email engagement, we have open rate, click rate, email sent, and average per contact. It didn't actually include bounce rate or unsubscribe rate because obviously we don't actually capture those. So we need to think about those two metrics. But I'm going to first grill it about the no response because why is it minus 100? Okay, so it did fix in 41 seconds, took about 16 cents to actually include the zeros for no response because obviously we have 100% response. 100% response, that obviously means zero no response. Okay, so there's one thing which I just noticed which is really clever in HubSpot is that first of all, the delays outside the emails. So in this view, we have delays defined outside the email. So it's very easy to say, oh, I want to change it to 2 business days or 3 business days or whatever that is. Whereas in our case, the delays or the sequencing sets in the emails itself. I'm not so sure which is like the best kind of UI UX here, because in this case I'll have to then click on each individual email and then configure that. But in this one, you just change the email here and it just works, and then you'll kind of have to save it. I like the HubSpot approach. The other thing which we need to look at is the concept of business days, because under settings here, there's an option which says execute steps on business days only, which means Monday to Friday. So I'm tempted to include that setting. So we need probably under booking sequence where we have an option to edit it. We need probably like a new setting which says execute steps on business days only. So that way, if it's turned on, the whole sequence only runs Monday to Friday. So let me take a few screenshots and explain to Replit how I want this. So that was very quick. In about 2 minutes, we have this capability where the emails will be sent only on weekdays. And I can see in create sequence, there's a setting down here. And if I click on the booking sequence, I can click on the edit settings. And then there's a setting down here. That's absolutely brilliant. I love this. And it only took 2 minutes to do this. That's incredible. Okay, so I've got back to Replit asking, we had some meeting booked yesterday. Could you check the logs again and make sure the meeting stats are correct? And also I've mentioned, is there a way that you can add some more checks which ensures all the metrics are correct and verified throughout the system? So it went through and, fixed a lot of things, and it seems like it added some checks as well. Took about 2 minutes to do that. It didn't cost us a lot, surprisingly, although it was 2 minutes, 72 cents. So if I go to sequences now and under emails, let's have a look. Booking sequence. So everything is 0. Refresh booking sequence, usually 1 meeting booked with correct percentage. Oh, sorry, something did refresh. So there was 1 meeting booked, and that has increased the rate here. And the reply rate is also changed, but I need to test this thoroughly one by one so that we can ensure that this is working. So let's do that. I'm going to first clear up all the stats and start again. Okay, so everything seems to be cleared now. Let's start from the beginning. I'm going to enroll myself. Waiting for send window. and the email, I received the email. So open is 1, so it's obviously 100%. And then I would click on this email and I would book a meeting as well. So let's complete that full step. So I'm going to do it for today, 3:30. Oh, it's not today, Friday. And let me just add my email address. Okay, cool. And also I'm going to reply to this email, replied. So I've done everything basically. So let's now compare the results in here. Sequences, booking sequence. Okay, everything is 0. Let me refresh. Okay. So thankfully the sequence has stopped. You can see that it's showing up stopped, already booked. View email logs. So I've opened the email, I've clicked the email, meeting booked. I've also replied, which it hasn't picked up yet. Maybe that takes a few minutes. Let me do refresh again. Okay, so replied is missing, and also the stats are missing. So let's get back to Replit on this. So I explained to Replit that I've received the email, I opened it, I clicked the link, I booked the event, and also replied to the email. And I'm asking can you check all these are showing up correctly everywhere, including timestamps, metrics, and if they're not, just put checks in place that this doesn't happen again. So hopefully that should solve it. So it seems like it has fixed quite a few problems, and let's validate this, but it took about 3 minutes, costed us about 94 cents. So let's have a look. So in sequences, okay, great. So we have 100% of everything, which is what I kind of expected. And then under enrolls, if I click view email logs, meeting booked, replied. So replied was a new one, which we have here. And the meeting was booked for November 7th. So that's actually pretty cool because it's showing the future date of when the meeting is scheduled. So on paper right now, it seems working well. There's one issue which I've noticed, this current step 3 of 2. I don't know what that means. So I want to have a much better version for that, but I'm going to think about it. So I've asked Replit to come up with a traffic light system for the emails which we need to send out. So let's imagine if you want to send 5 emails out, and there should be 5 dots or 5 circles, and each circle should be represented with a color which would denote exactly what the status of that email is. So if it's green, that means it's delivered. If it's orange, so it's like in process or it's getting sent. And red means if it's blocked or we couldn't send it, or it got rejected or something. Any kind of error would be red. So let's see what Replit does for this. Okay, so it did make some changes to the UI. It added some traffic lights here, which I actually didn't want to do here. I wanted the traffic lights to show up here. So it took about 4 minutes, costed about $2.99. Quite expensive to do that, but I'm gonna get it fixed. So I'm gonna mention I want the traffic light system here, not on the analytics page. Analytics, if I can spell it. Screen. Let's see what Replit does now. Okay, so after a minute of work, it did remove the traffic lights from the email steps, which I wanted. And in here, it has added this traffic light, which shows obviously the opened, clicked, replied, and meeting check boxes or check marks. But I'm not so sure about this step 3 of 2. It still doesn't make sense. And also, I would like to have time, like date timestamps next to it so that I can see exactly when they opened emails and stuff like that. So let me fix these 2 issues. Right, so it came and fixed one thing, but also broke one other thing. So it added these timestamps, but unfortunately it's kind of under the panel, so we need to fix that. And also the completed 2x2 also doesn't make sense, because what I want to see in the current step is what's the progress. So for example, let's imagine there were 10 emails in the sequence and we sent 2 emails. It should say 2 out of 10 and there should be 2 traffic lights. And that's the kind of where the current step is. So I've explained that to Replit. Let's see what it does and how it fixes it now. So after a minute of work, let's see what Replit did. So under booking sequences, if I click on enrollments, I can see now current step 1 out of 2, which is good. And there's 1 traffic light, but it's now under. This is so annoying. So if I've just refreshed it again. Oh no, look at that. That's pretty bad. So I'm going to take a screenshot and I'm going to tell Replit that I can't even see the pop-up anymore. I can't see the tooltip anymore. So this is sometimes annoying that Replit does that, but obviously it doesn't have the visual understanding of where things are on the Z index. So if it's like higher or below, maybe that's something I should tell it. But yeah, overall, it's a manageable thing. Finally, some good news. So once I hover over, I can see exactly the pop-up showing up correctly. Costed us about 56 cents plus 48 plus 26. So a bit of like back and forth, but thankfully we got there in the end. So I'm happy with this, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now I'm actually pretty happy with the state of the app right now. Obviously, there are certain features and things which I would love to add, but for now, let's define this as the first release version or first candidate release candidate, and we will actually publish it. So before publishing though, we have one more thing to do, which is adding authentication. Authentication obviously is very important because we don't want anybody to just log into the app and access it. We only want authenticated users to access it. And in my case, because I'll be using it for my agency, I just want it to be restricted for Apexia users, and within Apexia users there will be, let's say, certain people who I would like to give them access to. So let me write up a brief which I'll show you in a second, and we'll give it to Replit and see what Replit does with it. Okay, so after 14 minutes of work, we have an authentication system. So it costed us about $3.98, and we have this new landing page which basically is a gated page. So once, I don't know why it said get started with Google, we need to just simply say sign in with Google, something like that. So if I click sign in with Google, it should use some kind of authentication. So for the most accurate Replit auth testing. So it's probably, I'm not sure how this works. So let's have a look. So you've already logged into Replit. So allow. So it's using my Replit account at the moment to log me in, but I'm pretty sure that's not what we want. We want the ability to have my Google authentication. So I need to obviously get back to it and mention that. It says here it completed Google OAuth. Maybe that happens in production. Replit OAuth will sign in for Apexia domain automatic role assignment. So let me show you the message. So I actually told Replit that I want user authentication included in the app. However, I use Google Mail for the domain apexia.com, and I want the ability to log in with our apexia.com email, for example, wasim@apexia.com, which is my email. And I also told it that I want the ability to find roles for sales, admin, viewer, etc. And I should have this super admin role for wasim@apexia.com. So it spent all this time, there's all sorts of like messages here. So I just want to see what happens under settings. So I don't see anything changed here. So I'm not sure how I can actually add new users or invite other users. So let me get back to Replit, ask it the same question. Okay, so I basically told Replit that I don't see where I can add users and define their roles. And I've also mentioned that I want to use Google authentication, not Replit authentication. And the third thing is I want to trim down this landing page. And I've asked it that, could you please use some of the branding colors from apextra.com? So let's see what it does now. Okay, so after a marathon session of 43 minutes, it seems like the authentication is now built in. So there was a lot of back and forth where Replit went through testing each of their users and their roles. I let it do it because I didn't want to test these roles myself one by one. So I was like, okay, I'm happy for you to do this. So I'm going to explain a couple of things here. So because we are in the local environment, and within local, we are actually in the preview environment. So what you see here is the preview URL, and once you click sign in or do anything here, it will be, let's say, in that preview mode. In order for us to see things in a bit more realistic way, because this is, let's say, the lowest level, and the next level is going to be having a dev environment. And for that, you need to open in a new tab, but not just open in a new tab. You should copy this URL and actually use it in the Incognito window, because the difference is if you're, let's say, logged in as, let's say, you while you're building this app in Replit, if you are using the URL, the dev URL on the same browser, it will then authenticate you using the Replit ID. But that's not what we want. We want to actually test the sign in with Google, which is the real world case. And for that, I should test it not through the preview URL, not through a new tab, because as you can see here now, it's actually asking me to log in using the Replit account, which we don't want. So I'm going to copy this URL, paste it in an Incognito window so that it doesn't know anything about who I am. And then when I click sign in with Google, it should now show me the sign up to Google. So this is where I can now continue with Google, and it's using the baked in, Replit infrastructure. But the good thing is it is actually showing me the prompt to log me in as my own Google account, which is what I wanted to see. So that's the distinction which I want you to kind of think about, that when you're testing this app, making sure that you test it in Incognito. So I'm just like on my phone, just accepting this request so that I can log in. So let's just hold on. So it's going to now say, okay, would you like to access Replit account, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we are happy to do that. So hopefully now, because I mentioned to Replit that I should be the super admin, I can see here on the left side at the bottom, I am the super admin on this account, which is pretty good. And then if I click users, these are all the different test accounts Replit created while it was like testing all these different variations. So I'm going to ask Replit in a second to actually delete all of these accounts, because I just want to keep my personal one there. So it seems I'm the only super admin here, which is what we wanted, and I can't delete myself, which is also pretty good. And then I can add more users. So for example, we have a success account called success@apextra.com and success team, and their role is going to be, let's say, a sales role. So if I click create user, then when they see the Google authentication window, if I then use success@apextra.com as the email or as the user, then I should be able to log in, which we will test in a second. But that role is a sales role. I haven't yet seen exactly what the roles mean at the moment, because I just gave Replit this prompt to add roles. I don't know what includes in a role, so we need some kind of a definition of what roles are. So that's something which we need to add. But on paper, it looks pretty good. So let me see if I can log in as success and see whether things change. So when I sign out, I'm gonna see if I can sign in with my success@apextra.com. So you're already logged into Replit, want to test and other login providers, open your app. Okay, what I'll do is probably like close this app and open in a new Incognito window, and then head over to my app in Replit, copy the URL, paste it in here, because I want a complete new session. I'll click sign in with Google, and then it should show me this. Yeah, this is exactly what I was expecting. Continue with Google, and then I would use the success@apextra.com as the email. So let's do that. Unfortunately, I don't fully remember the password. Let's see, success@apextra.com. So I'm going to copy the password, paste it in here. It might, yeah. So there's like a check your nothing phone. Let's see if there's any other way. Tap yes on a tablet. Try other way. Oh no. Okay. Let's have a look. I might have to ask my team for a second and get them to verify this account. Okay, so my team has accepted that, or given me, accepted the OTP. So I should now be able to log in. Let's see the type of access I have now. So I'm going to say allow. Okay, so straight away I can see this is a sales account, and I can also see I don't see users, which is a good sign. So this account person cannot add more users. They can obviously see other stuff, like they can see the contacts, they can see deals, sequences, all of that. At some point I want to have the ability where users should be able to create their own sequences, and it shouldn't interfere with other sequences in the system. But that's like an advanced functionality which I don't have to worry about right now, because we're not many people who will use the actual sequencing feature. As a small business, you will just literally have a few sequences which you will define under your own name. So for most of the use cases, it should suffice. So I think we're in a very good shape now. The next thing is to publish this. So let's do that now. Here's the exciting part now. So far, whatever we did, we worked in a local environment, and then we worked in a bit of dev environment, but now we're going to publish it to a production environment. So a couple of things which we need to think about. First of all, because it's an internal app, I don't have to publish it on a particular URL, which I could. For example, I could have crm.apextra.com, and that will open up this this app. For now, I'm not so fussed about that particular setup, so I would define it as a public URL, but obviously because we have defined it in a way that only Apextra users will be able to log in, so that way it's authenticated. So let's do that. So I'm going to first of all call it Apextra CRM, and then once I click publish, it's going to set up the production database, and it will also ensure that everything is brand spanking new with that production environment. There will be issues which we will encounter for sure. I can already think of that we need to set up new webhooks inside Resend for the production environment, and we also need to add me as a super user inside the production environment, and I'm pretty sure there'll be other settings which we'll have to configure. But let's start with publishing it now. So this will take, yes, some time. So as you can see, it's provisioning the server. It's going to build it, bundle it all together, publish it and promote it. And then once it's done, I'll get back. Okay, so the app has now been published, and I can use this URL and go to this URL. Let's see how this pans out. So if I click sign in with Google, I should be able to log in with my Google account, because obviously we're doing this again, it's a brand new production environment. So I want to use my Apextra email. Oh, actually, that's a good test. I want to see if I can log in with my Gmail, which is not an Apextra account. So let's see if what it does. It should barf and say you're not authorized. Let's have a look. So if I click allow and give it all the permissioning, oh, that's not good. So it did allow me to log in as a user, and I have access to everything. So that's one thing which we need to fix straight away. Okay, let me actually sign out and log in as Apex Share, because that way I'm the super admin. I hope it remembers that it needed to do that, where it needs to like, oh, I need to like maybe open up a new window now, because yeah, let me actually try to do this in Incognito now. So I've copied the URL. This is the production environment, by the way. So I have to make sure whatever I do is going to be accurate. Otherwise, I'll have to end up deleting user accounts in production, which is not cool. So let me log in as Wasim at apexshare.com this time. Okay, so it should probably give me some kind of one-time authentication thing. Okay, I've accepted that, so hopefully I should be in. Okay, great. So excellent. So I'm defined as a super admin, which is good, and I can see myself with my Gmail account being added as a user, which we can't allow. So we need to fix that. So other than that, we'll have to test all these things again, but I have to add those webhooks first as well. Okay, so there's one thing which I want to clarify. So if you look at your dev environment, you obviously have your secrets, let's say file or config tab here, where you can define all your passwords in one place, or some kind of settings. You have something similar for production. So you have to go to, I believe it's Publishing, and within Publishing, there's a feature called Advanced Settings, and within Advanced Settings, you will see there's a grid of different key value pairs, and this should match the ones which you have in dev. And if you have a different, let's say, setting or a different name for something which needs to be differentiated between dev and production, you would make that change here. So that is that, but there is one thing which we need to do straight away, which is effectively changing the webhooks, because these webhooks were defined for the dev environment. We need webhooks for production. So just to be 100% accurate with the naming, I will ask Replit to give me the webhook URLs so that I can copy and paste them here and configure them properly. Okay, so Replit did come back to me with these two URLs, and it has also mentioned what type of triggers I need to enable. I've just copied them into a Google Doc. So it's effectively just changing the name of the app, because now it's actually hosted on a production live URL. So we have to replace it with the correct ones. So I'm going to leave the dev ones here, but I'm going to start with adding the first one. So we need this first one for resend, and then we will enable all the email triggers. So we need email bounced, clicked. It's saying complained as well this time, which I don't mind adding. Delivered, delayed. I think we should add failed as well. Opened, not received, because we will be tracking received separately. And then email sent. No, we don't need it. We don't need sent. So those are for the first one, and then we need to add the second one for reply tracking, or for emails which have been received for this inbox. So let's go back to email.received and enable that. Okay, great. So now these are enabled for production. So let's do a formal test in the app to make sure that everything is working. So this is our brand spanking clean production environment. So I'm going to add myself as a contact with my Gmail settings. create contact, and now under sequences, oh yeah, so because everything was deleted, we need to start creating a new sequence. That's absolutely fine. So thank you for reaching out to us. Oh, this should be called the booking sequence. Sorry, I'm not typing in the first email. So stop on reply is good, stop on booking is good, and we want to enable on business days only. So let's create this sequence, and then within it we need the first email, which is thank you for reaching out to us, and then hi, and then I'll just copy in the first name and say thank you for reaching out to us, thanks for seeing. So obviously I'll have to configure Calendly and make sure that we have the right text, but I'll worry about that later. So for now, let's create this step and then enroll this one contact which we have. So I'm going to click enroll. Okay, great. So hopefully in a few seconds we should receive the first email, and everything should also work, all the tracking and all the stats which we put together. So before I do that, I want to just check my spam folder, because this is the first time we're sending it through this new URL. So okay, nothing has come through yet. No emails to log. It's saying waiting for send window. I'm a bit surprised to see that, but let's have a look at our contact. So it's set in GMT BST, which is where I am. So it shouldn't be a problem with the actual settings. So let's have a look. So I've got a user here, sequences. Thank you for reaching out. So sent is 0. So maybe there's an issue with the API which we set up with the webhook. So let me investigate into that. I think I found the issue. The problem is before we published, the word mini CRM was used within Replit, and it thought like that is the name which it should give me when giving me these webhook URLs. So unfortunately, I changed the name to Apex CRM. So what we did was we created webhooks for mini CRM when actually Apex CRM is the right word. So I'm gonna delete these webhooks and recreate them. Cool, so I've added these 2 webhooks with the right application name. So that should fix it. Let's go to our enrollments. I'm gonna delete this enrollment and start again. So I need to fix this issue because it says like waiting for send window when we know it is the right send window. So let's have a look. No emails coming through yet. Let's check the spam folder once again. No. Okay, let's check the view email logs here. There's nothing logged, which is a concern again. But yeah, I need to ask Replit again what's going on. Okay, so unfortunately, I haven't been able to replicate the issue which we have in production. So I've configured the webhooks. Everything seems to be okay. Unfortunately, because I don't have any way to see the logs, I'm asking Replit to help me with this, because I want to add another column here which tells me if I click like view more info or something like that, it shows me the entire progression of what steps have been taken in the background and if there are any issues. So it's currently doing that. So there's a difference though. I'm currently looking at production, and whatever we're building now is in dev. And in order for me to publish those, I need to republish and apply those changes in production. So there's like a 2-step process now. Before this, we used to work directly in our preview window. Everything was showing up straight away on the right side. But now we can test things first locally in dev. And once we're happy with it, we can roll it out to production. That could be the step 2. But because we're having this problem in production, so we have to replicate, we can't replicate this in dev. So I'm going to build this feature now, which will help us with logging, and then publish it to production. And hopefully there we should be able to diagnose. It's like a chicken or the egg situation here. So working around that right now. So let me show you the prompt which I wrote. I said to Replit that I need a way. So I actually took a screenshot and I said, I want to add a column in here which says view activity, and it should log everything in a pop-up with a scroller. For example, email once sent, and if it fails due to any reason, whatever that reason is, it should give the exact error and log it so I can diagnose it and also figure out any issues in production. So make it as user-friendly as possible. So let's see in dev what it kind of looks like, and then we will roll it out to production. So in enrollments, I can see there's a button here, which is pretty cool. It says view activity. So it's kind of like the one which we already had in view email logs. So there has to be some kind of a difference between this and that. But I want to see how it shows up in production because the email was never sent. So maybe it will have some errors. And also notice there's like a log file, which I need to look at some point. But before I go down that rabbit hole, I'm going to publish this. So I'm going to go to Publishing, Republish. So if you don't see this tab, you just have to click on plus and enable publishing and then republish your app. So it might take a few minutes and then I will check this new feature within production. Okay, so the app has been republished. So I'm going to refresh my browser, and hopefully this is the new version. I need to add probably at some point like versioning so that I can see exactly which version we are looking at, and also probably like when it was last published, or maybe like release notes. But more on that later. So let's go to sequences and dive into our booking sequences, enrollments. Okay, I don't see the button here. Now that's interesting. Maybe I need to shift refresh. Okay, I don't see. So let's probably like delete this and start again. Okay, now I see view activity, which is pretty good. Oh, there we go. We have the email. So maybe we just have to republish the app. I don't know. So thank you for reaching out to us. So there's no engagement yet, which is what we like. And let me open the email. So since I've opened the email, it should have an open rate. So let's look at that. So let's refresh this again. Enrollments, view activity, no engagement yet. Open rate is still 0. Let me go back. So I'm going to close the tab. Hopefully that maybe kicks off the open rate. View activity, no engagement yet. Okay, that's kind of concerning. So it was sent to Vishaydor Wasim. Everything seems to be okay. The timestamps are right. It's just that the open rate isn't showing up. Let me do one more thing. Let me click on it and reply back. So, hello, this is a test. I just want to make sure that in our webhook we enabled the open as a thing. So compare and deliver open. So email.open is there as a trigger. So we haven't done anything wrong there. So I've replied to the email. So that means the automation should actually stop. So if I refresh and click on enrollments, it is marked as completed because the email was delivered. Let's have a look. No engagement. View email logs. So no engagement. So somehow the tracking or the webhook isn't working properly because the email is sent and everything else seems to be okay. But I don't see any kind of special logging in here. It's just still the basic logging which we had when we clicked on actions view email logs. So I need to let Replit know that I need more stuff. I can't live with this basic stuff and figure out what's going on. We need more advanced logging. And also we have an issue that the logging isn't actually working. The stats are not working. And maybe that's again a webhook issue. But let's tackle both of these problems in one go. So after 16 minutes worth of work, which costed about $3.39, it seems that Replit added a lot of logging, which will be easier for us to, diagnose our issues. But one thing which I realized it has done this on dev right now. But I also noticed in production, everything has wiped out. All the contacts and everything else is deleted. I need to check where or why that happened. But before I go down that rabbit hole, we need to sort this issue out. So I'm just looking at view activity. So service diagnostics. This is a new tab which Replit has added. And I can see here, pipeline summary, something bull MQ, it's like a queuing engine, not available, recent API pending, webhook processing, because obviously this is something which has happened in the past. So moving forward, hopefully this should be, this should have all the details. So I'm going to publish this in production, but while I'm going to publish, I'm going to check for the production database settings, because just want to make sure that that the production environment is not always like empty. So configure how your production database is created and populated when you publish. Production databases help protect your live data while you continue building. Cool. So create production database upon publishing. That should be ticked off. Copy your development production database to production. We don't want that. So this is fine. You already have a production database published. So the question is about why was it, why did it become like completely empty? So let me first publish this and then I'll come back to that issue. So let me click republish and then it's going to start publishing it, and then we'll unfortunately add this data again. Okay, so the changes have been published. One thing I realized was actually nothing was actually deleted. It's just that my state or that app was cached out. So I didn't have any data. So I kind of logged out and logged in. But that's something which we need to take care of at some point. So let's go over to sequences. Under sequences, we have enrollments, and under enrollments now we have this view activity. I don't want to click on it. I'll start again from the beginning to see exactly what happens. So I'm going to enroll this contact again, and then let me refresh this. So I can see on the left side I've received the email, and then under enrollments I have view activity, which is good. If I click on it, I can see there's service diagnostics. I can see bull MQ job queue is fine. Recent API was good. Accepted email accepted by resend for delivery. So this email was sent. Now the question is, webhook successfully processed and database updated. Database status is also logged. So everything seems to be successful at this stage, which was kind of where we were at. The question is, when I open the email, so when I've now opened, is it going to update the stats? So let's have a look. So view activity, no engagement yet. So my question is whether this information is cached somewhere and it's not updated in real time. I'm going to probably think that's the case, because so far I don't see any line entries for, email opened. So I'm gonna just like open a new tab here so that I don't even have that tab open. But yeah, the open rate isn't changing anyway, so that seems to be like an issue which we need to still fix. But I can see there's definitely better diagnostics here, but it's still not helping us with the opening of the email. So let's see if we can fix that. Unfortunately, Replit is hallucinating a bit, I think, because it spent 4 minutes and it's telling me that the emails which were sent were not sent from the CRM, but were sent from recent dashboard directly. I've not touched recent dashboard, and all the emails were only sent by Replit's CRM, or this app which we're building. So I need to really push hard and make sure that Replit is not confusing it with the dev environment, because sometimes it does that where it thinks of an issue, and because it has much better access to dev, it focuses on dev, whereas you're looking at production. So let me clarify that with Replit. So Replit couldn't actually determine exactly what the issue is, but I've got another issue at hand right now, where when I log in, or when I waited for this thing to come back to me, I can see all the data has disappeared again. And I guess it's again to do with something with the state of the app. So I'm going to tell Replit about this issue first, because we need to obviously get back to a state where I can see all the data. So once it fixes it, we'll go back to our original issue where the sequences are being sent, but the logs are not correct. Okay, so after a minute of work, which costed about 53 cents, Replit seems to have fixed the stale time. Before this was set as infinity, now it's kind of after every 5 minutes. So I'm going to deploy these changes to production, and hopefully when I refresh, I should be able to see actual data. So let's see how that goes. Cool, so we have published the latest version. Let me just have a quick refresh. Okay, nothing has changed. I still see data which is stale. I need to go back to Replit and get this fixed. So here's what I did to kind of really explain to Replit what the issue was. Because I can't see any data, although I know in production there is data, and I can show you how to check that. So when you go to Publishing, you can actually open this tab called Manage under Production Database, and then you can see, for example, for contacts, I have this one contact, so I know the data exists. The problem is that somehow the cookie is not set up correctly, where it's maybe logging me out. And while I'm logged out, I can still see the backend or the front end, which is weird. So what you can do is enable developer tools by right clicking and then clicking inspect and then going over to the network tab. Once you're in here, you just refresh the page and it'll show you all sorts of lines of data here. You don't need to worry too much about what everything means. Just take a screenshot of it and tell Replit that this is what you see, and that's what I actually wrote. This is what I see, and it kind of straight away figured it out that there was an issue with the cookie. It wasn't set up correctly, and hopefully now, after a minute of work, it can fix it. So if you fall into that trap where where Replit doesn't understand what's going on in production, especially in production, because it doesn't have eyes over production. In dev, it's kind of okay to understand everything, but with production, it's kind of oofy. So you need to do this bit of extra work. So I have published the fix now, and under cookies, under application, I'm going to clear this cookie up. So hopefully then when I kind of log into the system again, it should work. So let me do that. Okay, so it is kind of working, but we need to come to that stage where I will leave it open for some time and see what happens. Hopefully that's fixed. So let's get back to our main problem, which is the sequences are working, but they're not correctly identifying, click rate and open rate and all that stuff. So this is where we're at. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and let Replit know the email was sent. I can see this in production, but I don't see any open rates. What is the issue here? Okay, so here's the deal. I got so annoyed with the whole setup that I can't really understand what's going on in production. What I've told Replit is to build me some kind of a way to understand exactly where emails are in the system, how many emails are being sent, where are they in the pipeline, where in the queue, just to show you how that prompt looks like. Oh, while it's building, I need to obviously wait for it, but I'll show you the prompt in a second. But hopefully with that view, I should be able to diagnose and also analyze, and if they, at any point I have issues with emails, I can, nail it down, because this whole system, the whole premise is based on emails, and emails is one thing. I have to get it right from day one. I can't mess about. So I'll show you in a second what I wrote and what I got. So this is what Replit has built for me. It's a live activity board, which shows me how many emails are currently waiting, processing, scheduled, and completed. For now, I don't really understand what scheduling means, because does that mean it was sent? Well, it should be under the completed. So I need to, ask Replit what that really means. And then for waiting, I need to also understand, what does waiting mean? Is it waiting for resources? Is it waiting for the queue to free up? So let me get some more answers to these questions, and hopefully we'll implement this in production soon. Okay, so Replit has improved something. So after 3 minutes of work and spending about 82 cents, it's given me the screen where I can see exactly how many emails are now scheduled, how many have been completed, and how many, and what's happened recently. So for example, this email was sent, and this is an email which is scheduled. So I'm going to actually remove this, delete this enrollment, and cannot removed from sequence. That's like Yoda talk. I don't know why that showed up, but I'll have to check with Replit on that. But I'm gonna re-roll everything and see if I can see the open rates come through, because that's what we're trying to achieve here. So let's enroll the contact as a forced enroll. Calendar booking check bypass, which is good. I've got the email here. Again, that's also good news. So I've opened it. Please, now show me something good. Refreshing the page here. But by the way, I'm actually checking dev, not production. So I'm going back on this screen, view activity, no engagement yet. Yeah, that is not good. So let me further investigate this and get to the bottom of this, because I can see live activity. There was one email sent, which is good, which is now 450, and the next one is in about 24 hours, which is quite nice to see what's going to happen. Let's imagine you have 5 or 4 leads coming through, and they have their own sequences, and you can see exactly when that email is going to be sent. So all of that is good, but our open rates have failed. Okay, so it seems like the actual open event is not even tracked inside resend. And this was something I noticed when I was looking at, when we verified the domain the other day, where open tracking is actually not recommended. It adds like 1 pixel transparent GIF image, and upon tracking can produce inaccurate results and decrease deliverability. So I don't know whether we should add this now or not. So I'm going to leave this for now, to be honest. So I'm going to be interested in only the click rate and obviously the people booking the meeting. So that is correctly showing up. So I clicked on the link and it showed, okay, the link is clicked. The only reason why we didn't see this in production is because I actually never configured Calendly, and I never sent an email with the link. So I'm going to do that in a minute, and hopefully then we should be able to see some metrics. Okay, this is the moment of truth. So now I've got the latest version in production, and I'm going to enroll myself. I can already think of a problem, because I'm now at 5 p.m. and it's already past 5. Oh, I did get this email. So, okay, scrap that. So good. So I can see there's a link. I'll click on the link, and I'm not going to book for now. Or shall I book? Let's book, because that way we can conclude that the booking also works. So let me put my email address here. Schedule event. So that's done. Okay. Now let's refresh this. Or actually, let's go to sequences again. Click on the booking sequence. Yes, so the email, good, completed, delivered. That's also good. Email, that is a bit weird. Let's just do a quick refresh. Oh, okay, we can see view activity. Clicked, we don't have, clicked is there, which is a good sign. Let's see if the booking thing is going to be showing up. So I've integrated Calendly correctly. Booking sequence again. Let's click on enrollments, view activity. What happened now? Come on, man. This is annoying me. Enrollments, view activity. Server diagnostics. I added so much, but why hasn't the booking worked? Line activity, steps. We have 0 meetings, 0 replies. Sucks. Okay, back to the drawing board. I need to kick Replit here because the same thing worked in dev. So I'm just wondering what the issue could be. Okay, so I had a brainwave. So instead of me figuring this out all the time and copy pasting stuff, I've asked Replit to add a button on this dialog box which says copy log. So when I press it, it should copy all the server information, all the things from a technical perspective, which I would then paste it into Replit to tell Replit what happened so that it can diagnose from there. I'm thinking, why should I do the diagnosis and prognosis in a way that when it can generate the input and the output without me figuring this out myself? So it's like, you know, those things which you see like lots of text, like when somebody, when Windows breaks down or Apple breaks down and say, send diagnostics or send this report. I want to create almost that report, which I can then share with the Replit. Hopefully, again, it should be clever enough to then understand what went wrong and then figure something out from there. So let's see how much this cost me. So it costed me about $1.76. And after 4 minutes, I have something, I think it's cool. It says copy log. And when I copy it, it says, okay, diagnostic log has been copied to clipboard, paste it to share, you know, those issues. And when I look at it, it's a lot of text with a lot of information, which I don't want to drill down into. But as a machine, it should understand far better than what this means, and hopefully diagnose the issue and investigate and find a fix for it. So I'm going to deploy this to production and see what happens there. Okay, so moment of truth. I'm going to enroll myself yet again. And then I have more data to look at now. So I'll have this email. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to book in a meeting for Friday, 3:30. I'm just booking random meetings with myself, and we do flood my calendar. Okay, so that's booked. Let's look at the live activity. So 1 is completed, which means recently completed jobs. Email auto refreshes every 5 seconds. So last update 5/27/49. Okay, nothing has changed. Let me do a hard refresh. I'll need to come back to the whole refresh story at some point. So enrollments completed, view activity clicked, no sign of meetings booked. Let's look at the log. This, by the way, this is a new thing which I've discovered, that I can actually look into the production log. Ooh, lots of errors here. When was it? 4? No, this is 422. So is this like the latest version of the log? Yeah, this. No, that's 247. Oh, it goes in the opposite direction. Bah, bah, bah. Email click processed. Why isn't the meeting showing up? That's so bizarre. Webhook received, email clicked. Okay, so email clicked, processed successfully. I think need to give it some time. Maybe I'm being too hyper and hoping that everything happens in like real time. Maybe it's not as real time as it should be, or maybe my expectation is too high. So I'm gonna leave it and see how it shows up after some time. And that's it, my complete walkthrough of how I built a HubSpot style CRM using Replit AI. If you've been thinking about cutting costs or building your own tools, seriously, give this a try. It's simpler than you think. But don't stop there. If you're setting up your business online and want to take things to the next level, check out my online business setup series. It's a complete step-by-step guide and walks you through everything from launching your brand to building systems. You'll find the link to the playlist in the description below. And if you're someone who wants to build your own CRM or automation setup that you're not sure where to start, I've opened up a few slots in my calendar for one-to-one strategy sessions where we can map out exactly what you want to build and how to bring it to life. You'll find the booking link in the description. If this video helped you out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more smart business builds. Drop a comment if you got any questions. I always read them. Until next time, thank you so much.